Hello everyone. Welcome to Basic Organelles of the Cell. This lesson is done by Hannah Luke. Now the first thing we're going to look into is the difference between plant and animal cells. Both of them share some organelles in common, as I will explain, and both of them also have organelles that are not present in the other. We are going to begin with the organelles that are present in both of these cells. The first one is the nucleus. The nucleus is an enclosed organelle with its own separate membrane that contains the DNA, or the genetic blueprint for all of life. The nucleus is very important, and that is where all of your genes and your chromosomes reside. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. This is where glucose is converted into energy, also known as adenosine triphosphate, or abbreviated as ATP. ATP is what gives your cells energy to perform vital functions that contribute to your survival. The cell membrane encloses all the organelles and protects it from foreign entities. The cell membrane deals with the transportation of nutrients and other molecules inside and outside of its membrane. Now for some more organelles. The ribosome is an incredibly important organelle for protein synthesis. Ribosomes use that genetic instruction from the nucleus and the DNA to create and synthesize proteins using amino acids. These proteins then contribute to things like eye color or hair color or your height. These proteins are used all over your body and play an extremely important role. Next, we have the endoplasmic reticulum, or the ER. There are two parts to the endoplasmic reticulum. There is the rough side and the smooth side. The rough side is where the ribosomes are attached to the surface, which is why we call it the rough ER. The rough ER deals with protein synthesis, as that's where your ribosomes are, and it helps participate in the synthesis of enzymes and proteins. It is also important for developing the formation of lysosomes, which I will explain later, and plays an important role in protein synthesis. On the opposite side, we have the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. It does not have ribosomes on its membrane like the rough ER does. This is formed of vesicles and tubes and helps with the transportation of other nutrients and molecules. It helps with the synthesis of glycogen, lipids, and steroids. And it also plays an important role for transporting organelles and other proteins. The Golgi apparatus can be thought of as the factory where proteins are received from the endoplasmic reticulum, are processed, and then sorted to be transported to other places in the cell by other organelles, which I will be talking about later. So both the animal and plant cells have a vacuole, but the functions of both are different. For example, the vacuole in the plant cell is one giant sac that helps maintain water balance. And sometimes a singular vacuole can take up the most interior space in a plant cell. Conversely, in an animal cell, we have many different smaller vacuoles which help sequester waste products and get rid of any unwanted byproducts out of the cell. Peroxisomes help trigger oxidative reactions, and they play an important role in oxygen use throughout the cell. They help with metabolism, reacting oxygen species detoxification, and signaling. And they're very important for carrying out these oxidative reactions. Finally, the vesicle. The vesicle is an organelle that's used to transport molecules. As I said before, the Golgi apparatus helps with transportation, and the vesicles are the ones that pack up those packaged proteins and bring them to other parts of the cell wherever they're needed. Now let's talk about organelles that are just in the plant cell. So the two main, most important ones are the cell wall and the chloroplast. So the cell wall is a structural layer surrounding the cell membrane, and it's tough and usually very rigid. If you ever see a picture of a plant cell under a microscope, you will notice that each of the cells have a very strict structure, these brick-like shapes. And the cell wall works to keep the inside of the cell safe and intact from the external environment. Additionally, we have the chloroplasts. So plants are different from humans, as in humans eat foods and other plants and animals to obtain energy, while plants make their own food through the process of photosynthesis. So the chloroplasts produce energy through photosynthesis and oxygen release processes, and this sustains plant growth. The chloroplast uses sunlight to make sugar and glucose, which is then used for cell respiration in the mitochondria, which I discussed about earlier, to make energy for the cell. For animal cells, the biggest difference for you to know is that animal cells have centrioles, which are paired barrel-shaped organelles located in the cell near the nuclear envelope or the membrane. So these are used for cell division, and they are only used in plants and animals, as plant cells have a different type of cell division. Thank you for watching and attending my lesson. I hope you're excited for the next one, and I look forward to teaching you guys about more important biological concepts. Till next time!